Back here, first things first, with Sir David Deal. Patriots ended the season on a strong note. They demolished the Jets 38-3 with Tom Brady throwing 4 touchdown passes in the process. The season may not have been the dominant one we've come to know from the Patriots, but somehow, some way, they put it all together. And now will be the AFC's 2 seed, getting a first-round bye for the 9th straight season. Here is Tom Brady on the importance of getting a week off.
We had a great opportunity for it. And, you know, just glad we could close it out. So you'd hate to have that opportunity and not, you know, handle what we needed to handle. And just glad that we did. And just ended up being a great, you know, way to finish here. Won 2 games at home and against our division opponents after 2 pretty tough losses. But showed some resiliency, and we're going to need it going forward. We got certainly a lot of things to learn about ourselves, a lot of things we can improve on, and see if we can, you know, win a game here in 2 weeks.
All right, David, we've been talking about this all season. This is not the same Tom Brady. It's certainly not the same Gronk. It's not the same offense. There's no more Josh Gordon. And yet here they are in very familiar territory. Do you think this team can make it all the way back to the Super Bowl?
The only thing that is the same is getting no information out of these interviews out of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's the only thing that's the same. I think when you look at this football team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, Gronk is not creating those one-on-one matchups that you think that he is going to open up for everybody else on the outside. And that's where it's really hampered, not having Josh Gordon on this team. They're going to have to find ways to get Chris Hogan and Philip Dorsett involved in this offense to open up things in the short and intermediate game for Julian Edelman and to stick with this ground-and-pound running game that they've been having. But for me, the big issue is it's their defense. When you look at their defensive side of the ball, there's nobody, number one, that scares you. There's nobody on an offensive side and an offensive line where you're like, okay, we need to slide protections to this guy. We need to chip over there. That helps you offensively so much game planning for them because you don't have to worry about that. And when you think about the departure of Matt Patricia, this used to be a bend but don't break defense. They break now. And when you have an offense that can spread them out, make them either decide to go with a big nickel or a linebacker, that's where you can create those one-on-one matchups for your running back out of the backfield. But once again, widen out that defense and run right down the middle of them.
Listen, I see Gronk running in quicksand.
Yep.
I see Hogan is a guy that's a one-trick pony. He's just a vertical guy that they try to take shots to. You know, I think the loss of Josh Gordon, and people are going to call me a Patriot hater, but listen, this is not the same team. I wouldn't pick the Patriots. Only team I would pick the Patriots to be favored over is maybe the Houston Texans, because I feel like they have their number. I feel like they know how to beat them. But you think about...
By the way, if the Texans win, that's who the Patriots get. Like that, the best thing the Patriots have going for them is how it fell.
Yes.
Like that 11 wins was good enough for a 2 seed, which typically it's not. That the bracket fell to where I think a lot of people in the wild card round in the AFC think the Chargers and the Ravens are the most dangerous teams. One of them is going to beat the other, and unless the Texans lose to the 6 seed Colts,
they will.
It's the okay. Well, that'll change things. Then Chargers, Ravens, the winner goes to New England. Like that is what the Patriots. What the Patriots are hoping for is that the bracket holds, that the Texans win, and the Texans, who have lost in the playoffs to the Patriots twice, the 2 times they've played them in the playoffs. Like, I want to give the Pats credit for what they did yesterday, because I said on TV on Friday that if the Patriots play the way they did against Buffalo, the Jets can beat them. And they didn't play like they did against Buffalo. Instead, they dominated the Jets offensively and defensively. Also give the Patriots credit for this. They are the only team in the league undefeated at home this year. That's surprising that they're the only team in the league undefeated at home, but they are. They also have some quality wins. They went to Chicago and won. They beat Kansas City in an epic game on national television. First game of the year, they beat a Texans team that before it turned into the team it is now, and they beat Indy early, both those teams when they were struggling. So all that's true. I still don't believe in this team, though. I look at the rest of the AFC, and I know what every one of those teams does great. I know what the Chiefs do great. 3rd highest scoring offense in football history. I know what the Ravens do great. Run the ball, defense, time, possession. I know the Chargers have what you were talking about, guys you have to slide protection to. Both sides of the ball, like guys you have to worry about on offense and Keenan Allen, guys you got to worry about on defense and Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, not to mention Derwin James. I know what the Colts do great. It's Andrew Luck and protecting Andrew Luck. And the Texans, Nuke Hopkins is having one of the best years of any player in football, and they have a dominant pass rush.
And the Patriots?
What they do great is they're the Patriots.
Situational football.
Situational football, right. And protecting home field.
But to go along with that, that's where they've been losing games is situational football. We've been used to having them have those slumps in September where like, okay, the defense, this is their preseason. They're getting their things together. Once they get into October, things will mesh. But when you see them lose games in Miami, having Gronk in the back, when you know the quarterback can't throw the ball 70 yards, and it's not going to be a Hail Mary. When you have a Tom Brady throwing it up for grabs and throwing an interception in Pittsburgh. Those are things that you do not see out of this New England team. Why? Because they do not still have the same confidence and swagger that they used to, where you would go up against them and you're like, oh, this is a scary moment. We're playing the Patriots.
You don't think teams still fear the Patriots?
They don't scare them
not
the same way.
Iota.
Because if you could put pressure on Tom Brady because of their offensive line and because they still have those problems in between the A and B gaps, which clearly came up in that Pittsburgh game with all the holding calls, he is not the same quarterback because he doesn't have the Wes Welkers, because he doesn't have the Randy Moss.
And Edelman doesn't look the same either.
Because those were guys he used to close his eyes and throw the ball to him, knowing that they knew exactly where to be at the right time. He doesn't have that same type of luxury right now.
You said that you don't think teams fear him. So do they change things around? Is it going to be what we've seen the last couple of weeks, just run the ball through Sony Michel and maybe not put it all on Tom Brady?
Well, I think that's exactly what you're going to get. They're going to try to run the ball, limit the possessions, and hope that they can outsmart you, either get you with some type of trick play by Edelman throwing the ball or some, double pass or, the Brady special. Maybe he catches it this time. They're trying to get you to defeat yourself. They're trying to get you to beat yourself and get you in those situational moments where they can score before halftime and then get back and then score coming out of the half and hope that they can get ahead of you two games. And you look at the guys that's in their division. If they go against Lamar Jackson, you look at the young quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, do they throw you a ball? Can you trick them defensively? That's their only hope. It's kind of like Rocky IV, man, when you go in there like, man, he's a man. He's not a machine. He bleeds just like everybody. Everybody sees their mortality and understand that this window is closing and they're trying to get, listen, if they get to the Super Bowl, this would be the greatest, smoke and mirror show
100%.
Ever.
They're 9-0 when they rush the ball for 100+ yards. They're 2-5 when they don't.
Yes.
They've never had a discrepancy like that, where when you're game planning against the Patriots now, if you have not the Jets team, but a legitimate team, you can say, if we take away the run, how can they beat us? The problem with the Pats has always been, you take away the run, no problem. Brady will kill you. Exactly. If you try to take away Brady, good luck with it. But if you can, they don't mind running the ball 40 times when they have to. This Pats team is limited. I understand they dominated the Jets yesterday.
Defense is, first of all, I'm the only one here that gets paid to have to watch the Jets, so I had to watch every play. Listen, Sam Darnold moved the ball. They just went for it on 4th down, and they didn't convert. And Tom Brady, wide open Hogan, right in the back.
Early in the game, missed him wide open.
Missed him. Tom isn't making the same throws, and I think he's starting to see the rush and hear the rush.
And why do you think they made those adjustments offensively? Because they're trying to put a Band-Aid on the hemorrhage of this defense. They need to control the time of possession. They need to keep this defense fresh and off the field because they don't have a pass rush. So being able to run the football and control it that way, that's their way of controlling the football game and not putting their defense in a bad situation where they're going to lose it for them. And that's something that you see in this adjustment and the evolution, not only when you get into December for teams like the New Orleans Saints that can lean on Alvin Kamara and Ingram, but when you have a team like the New England Patriots that don't have the receivers like the Saints have on the offensive side of the ball. That's where Sony Michel coming back healthy. That's where letting this offensive line dictate the tempo of the games comes from. Because if they don't, that's where, like we talked about, that Pittsburgh game, you're going to have holding calls. You're going to be in 3rd and longs. And that's not how this New England offense can function.
Every indicator says it's a different team. Road record, overall record, Brady's efficiency. If you want to go silly, his number of Pro Bowlers. Every indicator says this is the worst Patriots team since the year Brady was out with an ACL.
And yet?
And listen, they won 11 games. They got the 2 seed.
Tom's eating potatoes, though. You got to think of the division that they're playing. I'm convinced that he's off the nightshades.
Okay.
He's looking mortal.
David, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Love having you. Got to take a break. Coming up, how dangerous are Andrew